For now, though, time for some more Sunday inspiration. Online festivals to go to in lockdown, new skills to try, and motivational guests. Well, Shannon Reed is exactly that. From Mockingbird Makes, she's a wellness creatrix. Welcome to the show, Shannon.
Anna-Louise, hello.
Do you know what? You've been a friend of the show for a while, but I saw the other day this new title on your social media pages and it got me utterly inspired. I've got to ask you, Shannon, it just sounds so magical. What is a wellness creatrix? How would you define it?
Oh, do you know what? I just thought a bit more sparkle was needed to wellness and for it to be not so heavy and not so serious. And a bit of magic needed to come in there. And the word creatrix is really magic, isn't it? And because creativity is my jam, I love how creativity can support our mental health. When I came across it, I thought, that's what I am right now.
That's me on a tin.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, your spirits always seem so high, Shannon. How have you been coping? Obviously, we're all in lockdown yet again. And I think so many people, we were all saying, weren't we, 2021, it's going to be the year. We'll be out of lockdown. The pandemic will be behind us. Well, obviously, that picture is very different now we're here. How are you managing to find, positivity at this time of year?
Well, I think I have my ups and downs as anyone does. So we'll say that first. We'll get real, not just living the faux shiny life. There's been hard times. There's been some grieving for me over Christmas, and it's been hard. What we did, I say we. Let me introduce you to a wonderful group of people called the Small Business Huddle. I host a networking group for small and independent businesses, and in one of my lovely business friends, Vanessa of Made by Pure Hands, thought we could do something to spark joy in January. And we didn't know, we could have guessed, but we didn't know for sure that we were going to be in lockdown again. So it feels like it was a gift to be doing this. And what we've created is Find Your January Joy, which is an event on Instagram where we've gathered 31 small businesses because there's 31 days in January. And one business per day is offering a gift, an offering, a discount, a special, something magic for all of our followers. And I didn't know how good that would be for me personally. This huddle has been running since the very first lockdown, a way that we could gather online to support ourselves through these difficult times. And while it's a networking event, it's really a holding space for us to put down our small business masks and really feel into what we're feeling and not have to be on for a moment while we can support each other and so on. And so it's been a joy to be doing that, and for us to be working for the month of January together, promoting lovely gifts. For example, I was on the 1st of January, so I recorded a meditation for 30 minutes for people just to come and have some space and feel safe and feel resilient and feel capable for what, these few months, hopefully it's just that we need to get through. And then there's lots of other offers as well. So
what I love, Shannon, is you are
lovely.
such an artistic talent. You really are. I particularly love your crochet. Gifts and decorations and animals, and most recently your yo-guys, if that's the right terminology for them, and your mermaids, just the most incredible dolls that you're crocheting. And there is so much more to you than your artistic talent. Not only do you, obviously show us what you're making and creating, but you are all for connecting similar-minded people and networks and bringing everyone together and open up that discussion, which I love. So important at these times.
It's been, okay. So I am Mockingbird Makes, and that's what you might see on the outside of my business, and that I crochet and knit and do bespoke makes, and yes, make yogis that are representatives of all different skin colours and so on, and being really inclusive. So that's a huge one of my values. But the reason my business came around was to support me with my mental health, and it was never as a business. It was simply creating as a way to support me in between therapist visits around depression and anxiety. And the last year I've really understood more about how important creativity is for us. It's a part of our yearning as humans to be creative. And I remember as a child wanting to be creative, but I didn't really let myself because, one, I didn't think I was any good. So I had judgments on it. I didn't think I was an artist. And then two, I didn't know that it was productive, and productivity in our world seems to be quite important. So I dismissed it quite easily. But coming back to it meant that I really embraced another whole part of myself, and I've been able to become whole. And so when I discovered how beneficial that was, I wanted to share it with other people.
What was it? How did you suddenly recognise how important crafting was, how talented you were? When did you embrace all of that and thought, actually, I'm going to go for it and this is what I'm going to pursue?
It was gradual, but mostly after I had children, when I realised that I couldn't go back to my fast-paced corporate world. And it was, my therapist suggested actually, what about making some things? And then I just felt, words are difficult. I just felt it. I felt a place for me. I felt a place to channel myself. I felt an ease come over me. I felt a way to have peace. So it was all about experience. It wasn't, this is, So that's why I want to bring the experience to people rather than just the theory. And so hosting things like women's gatherings, my creative conversations is a women's gathering where we bring abandoned projects, and they might be abandoned from a year ago, but they might, as I've been referring to, be abandoned from childhood and bring them back. But mostly it's about connecting. I mean, what we're doing with our hands is important and really helpful to soothing our nervous systems, because we take ourselves out of flight or fight mode and into rest and digest when we're doing something gentle with our hands. But also the connecting with others and seeing other people in a group, that's sort of regulation, being seen, seeing others helps soothe our nervous systems. And it's what we need right now, because we've gone from acute stress to it's coming into chronic because it's become so long for us. All of these dips and turns and ups and downs and backwards and forwards and changes and regulations and so on. We're on high alert a lot of the time, which takes it into a chronic stage. So being able to be consciously bringing and soothing our nervous system is really important right now, because we're quite used to being in stress and we might have forgotten what it is to be relaxed and calm. So hosting things like this brings me a lot of joy, and it brings a lot of calm and welcomeness and comfort to people.
And that makes me
feel good.
So interesting, Shannon, because it was your therapist almost that gave you permission to create again and to get crafty again. And then now you're almost doing that for others in your creative conversation Zooms, in your women's gatherings. You're encouraging and promoting others and getting them to unlock their creativity. How popular have your sessions been? I can imagine people flocking for sort of interaction.
They have been really popular, selling out last year. I think there's a bit of Zoom fatigue, and we might have to push ourselves a bit harder to get on screens at the moment, which is totally understandable. But once people are in, they come back again and again because they've had the experience. It's not just the idea of it. We have the experience of it, and they know how beneficial it is, and it's so important, and it's so wonderful for people to be doing that right now.
I'm interested to know, you've made your passion, your talent, your day job and what pays the bills. Do you ever have a day where you think, I can't pick up my needles, I can't make another crochet gift, I can't create today?
It's very, very rare, but it does happen. And but there's never been a day that I've woken up going, oh, not that job. Don't want to go to work today. I've never said that ever. There have been, but mostly I get those when it's really challenging, and it's either really challenging because it's like a new thing that I'm doing. And so I can go, oh, I see you, boredom. I see you, frustration. You're actually just resisting a hard thing. So, keep working on that. Or if I'm overwhelmed and there's so many jobs on and so on. So November to Christmas is difficult. So I get really good with my boundaries. And if nothing else is doing it for me, I totally step away and I go for a passion project. I try and have as many passion projects as I can in there to keep my own creativity, to keep my own inspiration alive. I tried to have a break over Christmas, and then so I was really well and boundaried and said, I've finished, got all my jobs done a week before Christmas, which was helped by the post, really. It was like, I can't post it. I can't do it, so I have to stop. And then it was my son's birthday, and what did we think that would be a good present for him? Just a full single bed blanket, of course. But anyway, it's done. It's beautiful. He's happy. And sometimes it's harder for me to step away from the crochet hook than it is to make me get onto it.
And I can imagine incredible pressure as well to make it right for your son, so that your blood actually loves what you create.
I did a couple of squares together upside down, and I went, am I going to leave them there? No, I have to make it right. And it's only so long that he's going to love my work. So, I've got to get in there while I can.
I mean, it's so interesting. There's all these different strands to you and your business, Shannon, but you're always looking for a new project. And last year you took on Hawaiian forgiveness, and you did, forgive me if I get the wrong terminology, but you did a diploma or a course online. Is that right?
I did. I studied the practice of Ho'oponopono, which is a Hawaiian forgiveness practice. And it is a healing practice, and it's very, very beautiful. And I have the honour of working with Tamu Thomas of Live 360, who is doing some amazing work and coaching women at the moment, and she's got a year-long project called Sovereign. And I'm running a session a month for her group on this healing technique, which is really, yes, it's about forgiveness, and it's about being in the present, and it is about letting go. It's about not letting your past ideas influence future ideas. So it really, really links in well with mindfulness. And it's a bit mystical, a bit magical, got a lovely bit of heritage to it. And I'm from New Zealand, so that sort of Pacific Island feel to it has a deep connection for me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you the links to Hawaii and why the Hawaiian forgiveness techniques of all places.
Do you know what? I there's some things about this practice that I can't articulate. But when I came across it, I felt it incredibly deeply. And, the first few times I just cried all the way through the practice. So it's really deep. It's really a deep connection for me in terms of getting to places, because I'm really good at holding resentments. I know I'm good. I have good skills at doing that. So I wanted to be able to release myself of this, because this takes a lot of energy for us when we hold on to these resentments and so on. And so working with forgiveness has always been really, really difficult. And then I came across this, and I went through a practice, and I just, my goodness, that hits me really, really deep. And I probably in 5 years' time, I might have more words for you around it. But it's it's a deeper knowing of this.
Oh, that'll be
practice.
interesting to check back in with you in 5 years' time, Shannon, and find out what you've learned. It's so interesting. In the old days, a few years ago, and before I used to host Sunday Breakfast, I think I thought that forgiveness was about what we're giving to someone else and to kind of let them off the hook. But actually learning through listening to all sorts of guests with different faiths that forgiveness is actually about ourselves and releasing that pain and tension and stress and letting go of someone or something.
I think for me, as you say that, when we say letting go, it really resides with that tendency I have to want to control. And if nothing else, this situation that we're in right now is telling us that we don't have any control. But what's interesting is that we never have had control. And so letting go is not something new that we've needed to do. It's just right up in our face right now. There's no choice. We need to let go, and I think it's going to be the greatest gift for us. And letting go of control, letting go of, and forgiveness is letting that go, and then it leaves room for what is to come in and what is available to you rather than what wasn't given to you, or what you didn't receive, or what didn't happen the way you would have liked it to happen.
What
I
advice,
think that's
Shannon?
really, really important.
What advice would you give to someone listening right now who's locked up their creativity, who, like you once had done, is sort of left the creativity in childhood? What would you say to someone listening right now who wants to ignite it again?
I think childhood is a big key. Looking back to what it was that you once loved, and then make it easy. A friend of mine is a nutritionist, and she says that when you're making changes to your life, make them as easy as you possibly can. And if it's not like a 9 on the scale of like 9 to 10 in the easiness, then make it even easier. That's Alex Joseph, my friend, who has said this. Making these changes really easy. So how can you find something that was really exciting for you that you can make really accessible and just do a little bit of? And it might be just colouring in, and then you have to be really, really adult with yourself and put the judgment in the bin. Put it in the bin, leave it there. There's no place for it. This is all about experimentation and exploring. And it's about play, and it's about fun. And we know that children learn best via play, but we don't get told so often that adults also learn best via play. It doesn't go away. That's still a really good process for us to learn with.
Get rid of that critical voice in your head. Lock it up. Lock it up in the cupboard and get going.
Absolutely. And I know this because I have a very well-developed critical voice.
Yes. Oh, especially at 3 a.m. in the depths of the night.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Shannon, thank you so much for coming on the show. For those listening who want to find out more about Mockingbird Makes, about your creative conversations, about your small business huddle, how do they do that?
I am on search engines under Mockingbird Makes, and I live most of my time on Instagram. That's Mockingbird_makes.
Oh, Happy New Year to you,
You'll find me
Shannon.
very, very interactive there. Thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to our listening in for Alice Rose. This is going to be lovely.
Yes. Oh, just hold on tight. An hour to go. We'll be heading out into the forest, trekking up that gravel path, and we'll be listening to a soothing sound bath right up your street, Shannon. You'll love it.
Definitely. Thank you.
Take care. Happy New Year.
And to you.
You're listening to Anna-Louise here on BBC.